What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm going to be giving you guys a breakdown of my TradeStation today. I'm going to go ahead and log in and show you guys how I have it set up. So how I use my time and sales, my options chain, how I pick my contracts as well, and how I'm looking for the volume in TradeStation if you do use it. I'm going to show you guys when I pick my contracts, it actually gives me the volume on those specific contracts so I know which contract to specifically take. So I'm going to give you guys a full breakdown of how I use it, and then I'm going to go over some profits I made today and how I was able to benefit from the trades I took today. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay guys, so the first thing I'm going to go over is my trades that I took today. So I'm just going to go over one very quickly and then we'll get right into the TradeStation part and how I use it. So this is my TradeStation and this is how it's set up. And these are the trades right here that I took today. So the one I'm going to go over today is Facebook. So I made about $200 on Facebook to the downside and then I made about $55 to the upside. So I'm going to show you exactly how I was able to make money on Facebook going up and Facebook going down. So you guys can see my Facebook chart here is on the hourly. And as I explained yesterday in my video, the levels that I look for and when I usually look to take on a trade. So I was looking for Facebook. There was a very nice sell-off in the market today. Everything was nice towards the downside. So I was looking at Facebook. So I was looking at Facebook below this specific low. So this was the pre-market low. And once it broke this pre-market low, I took it to the downside. And you can see I had some nice room to move because all of the supply was above here. So there was no moving averages below and it had some nice room to fall. So I took this Facebook trade right here under 256.60, and then I took profits right on here at the bottom, which was also the low here. So you can see it came to this low at the pre-market and it bounced right off of there. So I took it below the low of pre-market here and I took it down to the low of the pre-market right around this area. So this was a nice scalp to the downside. I played puts on it. I was able to make $200 on this trade. So I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to show you guys how I took Facebook to the upside. So I could have also played the bounce on this, but I didn't want to risk it. Market was pulling back. SPYs and QQQs were falling. So I wasn't risking to, I didn't want to get into the trade and risk a position if I wasn't comfortable. So what I was looking for, if the market did bounce, which it did, I was looking at Facebook to the upside. So you guys can see it cleared above these moving averages and it was going to break the highs of the previous candle. So I marked my line here, which is my resistance, and I got into the entry right here. So I got into the entry here. Tape looked strong as well. Buyers were stepping up, so I took on this trade and I took profits right here at this moving average as well. It did push up a little bit more, but the momentum was not there. So I was looking to exit this trade, which was for a small profits of $55. I could have potentially held this trade, but again, the SPYs and the Qs were putting back and I wasn't too confident in the market today, so I was playing smaller position sizing. So I got into Facebook right here over the break of the previous candle, and I took profits at this moving average right here. So that's the Facebook trade I took today. And you guys can see here, to the downside, I played puts and I was able to benefit $200. And then I played it to the upside, which is $55. You guys can see my profits here today. They're actually very small, nothing crazy. I did make about $408 on the day, but I took on smaller position sizing because of the market. I was not certain where the market would go. So I took on a smaller position size and I did not want to risk capital in a market like this. So the second thing we're going to go over is my TradeStation. I'm going to show you guys how I use my TradeStation. So the first thing I want to say is a friend of mine helped me set up my TradeStation. So he goes by the name of Cater. So shout out to you, Cater. I appreciate your help on setting this up for me. So he actually, I opened up my account. He actually helped me set this up. So I'm going to go over how I use this. So the first thing I look at is my time and sales, which is right here in the middle. You guys can see all the orders here. The green is obviously buyers. Red is obviously sellers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put up my Option Station Pro. And what this is where I pick my option contracts. So right here is where I go ahead and type in the ticker that I'm looking for, and I go ahead and select the contract that I want. So let's say, for example, I want to take a position on, let's say, PayPal. So I type in the ticker here, and I'll pick the contract that I want the most. So let's see if I'm looking for PayPal to the upside. My calls are on the left and my puts are on the right. So let's say I want to take on a PayPal position. I'm looking to see what contract has the most volume. So you guys can see here the contract volume here. Go ahead and expand this for you guys so you guys can see it a little clearly. But you guys can see the volume here on the left. So you guys can see the open interest on these contracts. So I'm looking for a specific position to have lots of volume. So if I'm going to take PayPal, I want to make sure I pick the contract that has the most volume. So this one specifically here has about 2,000 open interest. So I would specifically take this 235 call if I'm taking PayPal to the upside. And if I'm taking it to the downside, I'm just going to look to see which contract has the most volume. So that's how I'm picking my contracts in the morning, to see which specific strike price I'm going to pick for that stock. So let's say, for example, I want to take the 275 call. I can go ahead and copy the ticker here, or the specific option contract, and I can go ahead and paste it into my little radar here. And basically I have my contract loaded here. So what I do in the morning is basically pick the stocks that I want, find the contracts with the most volume, and I throw them on my radar here. So I could have basically 4 or 5 positions here, and I use this to basically look to see what the contract's prices is going for, and then I execute my trade from here as well. So I look to see that the time in sales is good, to make sure that heavy buyers are coming in. There's a lot of order flow, and then when I'm ready to take on this trade, I usually just click on my contract and I control it via hotkeys. So I have my hotkey set up as Control 1 for one contract, Control 2 for 2 contracts, and so on. So I basically use my hotkeys to enter the trade, and when I'm exiting the trade, I have it set up where I'm using Shift S to sell my position. So I don't need to do any clicking. All I need to do is just click on my specific contract, and I can execute my order via hotkeys. So I have basically my orders that I'm looking at today. So if I want to pull up the orders like PayPal, Boeing, Tesla, Amazon, I'll throw my contracts into here, so that way I'm able to execute the trade quickly when it's breaking over a specific level. So this is what I have for my radar screen here. I have it on the top left, and on the bottom is where my orders actually get filled. So when I execute my order, it drops into this little window here, which is the positions I have. So like today I took Uber, PLTR, Facebook to the upside, Facebook to the downside. I took BABA, BA, and AMC. So all of my positions show up here, and it shows me my P&L, how much I'm making and how much I'm losing. And then it also shows me the bid and the ask, so I know what the spread is looking like. And then it also tells me the percent of the trade, how much I'm making on it. So this is my orders, and then this is where the orders actually get executed, where it shows you in the window. In the middle here is where I have my time and sales. So where I'm looking to see that the orders are coming in, to make sure buyers are aggressive when I'm looking at a specific level. So this is what I'm referring to when I talk about the tape looking strong, meaning there's lots of buyers stepping up when it's breaking a specific level to the upside, or sellers if it's breaking to the downside. And then I have my options chain here. So if I'm looking to exit a position and I don't like the spread on it, I will come over here and try to get filled at the ask or in between the ask at any of these specific levels. Depending on the trade, the price will obviously change. So I'm looking to get filled here. If it's at 153, I'm looking to get a better fill. I'll go ahead and click here, and I'll just execute my order using this specific options plane. So when I click my contract, I execute the order using my hotkeys. It pops up into this window, and when I'm ready to sell, I can either come here and sell it, or I can hit my hotkeys and use it that way and sell it out of that position. So this is basically the platform, and this is how I have it set up. So in the morning time, what I usually have is my TradeStation loaded to the left, and then my charts are loaded to the right. So I'm looking at the charts, and then I'm executing the trades via my radar screen. So I'll pull up the contracts in OptionStation Pro, and then I'll load up the contracts. So if I'm looking at a specific stock and it's not on my watch list, I'll just search it here. And again, I'm looking to see which contract has the highest volume. You can see here on Boeing, on the 220 calls, there's about 8,000 open interest on those contracts. So I would most likely take that specific contract and that strike price because it has the most volume and it has the most volatility. So my contracts will move when that stock is moving in my favor. So that's basically it, guys. That's my TradeStation setup, and that's the profits I was able to make today, which is about $408. I gave you a quick breakdown on Facebook, but I really wanted to go over the TradeStation and how I have it set up. So if you guys have any questions, or if you guys have any trouble setting it up, you can definitely drop it down in the comments section, and I'll try to help you guys as much as I can. But this is how I have my layout, and this is what works for me. Again, there are probably other layouts out there that people use, but this is the one that I like the most, that favors me. So, yep, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And again, if you guys have any questions, you go ahead and drop them down in the comment section, and go ahead and drop a thumbs up if this video was beneficial for you guys and if it helped you out. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.